To be a bull rider, you gotta be tough. You can't be whiny. You can't be a crying baby. It is a sport for tough guys. If you wanna be soft, go play softball. I'm from São Paulo, Brazil. I was born at the ranch, grew up around livestock, and ranch kids in Brazil, we always ride calves and colts and all that kind of stuff. And then when I was 16 years old, I watched my first rodeo, and I figured that what I was doing for fun at the ranch, they were doing for money, and here I am now. I started in '84. It was a brand new deal. I just did it because I love it. I like the challenge. You know, I didn't have any American tapes to see it. I didn't have any idols down there to look after, so I learned by myself. I taught myself how to ride bulls.
After winning back-to-back Brazilian national titles in 1992 and 1993, Adriano set his sights on riding full-time in the United States. Moraes decided to set up shop in Texas. Once arriving in Texas, he began riding on both the PBR and the PRCA circuits. Some of his earliest rides made stateside were right here in the Fort Worth stockyards. It wasn't long after his arrival in 1994 that the young Brazilian made a splash, winning the average title at the NFR, and becoming only the third rider in history to cover all 10 bulls at the NFR. He would also become the first ever PBR world champion. Fellow Hall of Famers Justin McBride and Ty Murray had this to say about Adriano's abilities.
He's a fierce competitor. Every time he shows up, it's to win. And he's capable of winning every time.
There's no way to fault Adriano as far as a bull rider and a competitor and an athlete. He's a physical specimen. He's willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done.
Adriano would make history again in 2001, becoming the first two-time PBR world champion. Along the way, Adriano's main focus has always been his family. Operating out of Northeast Texas during his career, Moraes and his wife Flavia and their 4 sons set up shop in Tyler. On raising his family in the cowboy lifestyle, Adriano had this to say.
My boys, they see both sides of the sport because I show them. I show my injuries, I show them my broken legs, my torn muscles, my cuts, my stitches. But they also see the glory, the glamour.
In 2006, battling a painful back injury, Moraes would make history once again, becoming the first ever 3-time PBR world champion bull rider. With his family by his side, Adriano cemented his legacy as one of the best bull riders of all time. Moraes retired from the sport in 2008, leaving behind a blueprint on how to become a champion.
Anyone could argue that Adriano is the best bull rider of all time.
He's always going to be regarded as one of the greatest ever.
He beat me so many times that he would just leave me in awe.
You know, when he came here, he didn't know anybody, couldn't hardly speak English, and then went on to become a king in the PBR.
He went a whole career being the guy that stock contractors didn't want to draw because he's going to ride their tough bulls. Guys like Adriano, I feel like, made me a better bull rider because they elevated the game to a point that you had to either get better or go home.
I think sometimes people forget what all, not only he went through to get here and to accomplish what he did, but what he's done for other guys to be able to come here from Brazil.
And he actually went, brought him over, flew him over here, let him stay at his house, let him eat his food, let him be part of his family.
Today, Adriano is still active in the PBR, helping to train the next generations of champions. On his induction into the Hall of Fame, Moraes said, "I am very honored to be chosen to be part of such a select group of people. For me to be a part of the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame is the strongest expression of recognition of my cowboy and Texan soul. Because of the years I lived in American territory, it was Texas that I chose to call home." Adriano Moraes, 2018 Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame inductee.